how Forspoken's combat works, and why it looks so magical. This expansive new action RPG puts you in control of Frey Holland, a young woman who is transported to the mysterious world of Athia. This land may be beautiful, but it's dangerous too. A phenomenon called the break has corrupted the people and creatures, and turned them into hideous monsters. Fortunately, Frey is able to call upon a wide range of magic spells to defend herself, from harnessing the elements to manipulating nature itself. Defining the look of Forspoken's magic. We put a great deal of time and thought into how we visualize the spells in Forspoken. First and foremost, we wanted to stay away from having things like fire or rocks just suddenly appearing out of nowhere. While that certainly would have been fine, and wouldn't have caused any issues, doing that felt too expected and boring, especially for a game so focused on magic. We decided that every spell would share a common rule. It would start with magic energy, and transition into natural phenomena like the aforementioned fire and rocks. Then, when the spell is cast, it would revert back to magic energy before fading away. We also wanted to stay away from using auras or summoning circles when Frey was using spells. This would lack originality. Early in development, we decided that magic energy in Forspoken would be represented by geometric patterns. This informed the visual design of all of the game's magic, and ensured we kept a consistent visual style throughout the game. Each spell in the game was the result of a team of visual artists, game designers, and programmers all working very closely together. To give you an example of this, here are 3 spells you can use in the game, and what went into bringing them to life. Burst Shot. Burst Shot fires explosive lumps of rock that deal area damage. It's an explosive earth-based spell that deals area damage, so we thought it would feel appropriate and magic-like to conjure a large rock that quickly protrudes in 4 directions. This is the first spell that Frey gets, and the first one we worked on, so we made sure it was pretty straightforward. Because Burst Shot was the first spell we took to completion, it became a guideline for all the magic in Forspoken. While we were making it, we used it to perfect the common rule of geometric patterns turning into rocks and turning back into geometric patterns before disappearing. So, while it may not be the most visually impressive spell, it's certainly special as it served as the departure point for all the others in the game. Cataract. Cataract spins up a watery vortex that sucks in enemies, damaging them as it does so. If you hold the button, you can send out pillars of water out to attack enemies, and if you hold it even longer, you can send out more pillars of icy water to freeze foes solid. During development, we came up with the idea of having streams of water converge and cause a big icy explosion. We challenged ourselves to visually express how water changes into ice. Only if we could achieve that, would the spell be complete. Of course, that was easier said than done. For example, this is a spell that has different levels. At level 2 it's only an explosion of water, and at level 3, the explosion of water turns to ice. Getting that explosion of water and freezing it was extremely difficult. We essentially had to develop it as 2 separate spells, which meant double the work. It's worth it though, because we were able to find a way to express that concept of water turning into ice. We were also very particular when it came to developing the shaders we used for these substances. I think Cataract is one of those spells that looks beautiful, even at a quick glance. Genesis. Genesis summons barbed branches, which fire out in front of you and skewer foes over a wide area. If you hold the button, it hits harder and over an even area, and if you hold the buttons even longer, it also strikes and poisons your enemies. The genesis of this spell actually came from one that we were experimenting with during the early stages of development. Very early on, we decided that Frey would be able to manipulate nature, and I thought it would be fitting and visually impactful if she could conjure a large tree from the ground. The original design saw the tree grow and attack enemies, but as we got further along in development, we reworked the design to better match the game's systems. Forspoken gameplay details. What we've seen so far of Forspoken showcases how Frey will be a particularly athletic hero. The main character has a skill known as magic parkour, which allows her to run fast, leap great distances, and use the environment to swing across gaps and climb vertical inclines. The latest look at the upcoming adventure offered insight into how magic is at the center of everything in Forspoken, from combat to exploration. Frey is outfitted with a variety of magical spells and combat styles that you can use and adapt depending on your preferred style of play. From long-distance powers to close-range spells, there's all manner of magical attacks to experiment with. With RPG elements such as crafting and upgrades, you can improve a variety of Frey's skills. Gear can also be equipped such as necklaces and capes to improve stats. In order to bring together realism with fantasy, Frey can use shards to paint patterns on her nails to make spellcasting more powerful. In our hands-on preview with Forspoken, we got the chance to try out some of the layered spells in Frey's arsenal. Forspoken release date. Forspoken is now officially be releasing on January 24, 2023. The move to 2023 marks the second time Forspoken has been delayed after it was initially pushed back from its original May launch date to October 2022. Luminous Productions confirmed the new release date on Twitter, citing that the reason for the second delay is a result of a strategic decision after discussions with its key partners. The studio did however confirm all of the game elements are now complete, and it's now in its final polishing phase. In terms of platforms, Sony has the exclusive on the console front, so it won't be coming to either Xbox One or the Nintendo Switch. A video from Sony that highlighted Forspoken among other upcoming PS5 games includes this in the fine print, in development for PS5. Also available on PC. Not available on other consoles until at least 24 months after release date.